Right now, there is this thing going on the internet, and there's the GOAT debate between Mahomes and Brady that's happening currently, and then there's also the comparison to the Patriots dynasty that the Chiefs dynasty is now currently on. And since the wild card round, the internet has been clamoring that today's NFL needs their Eli Manning to stop Patrick Mahomes. This is a real thing that has happened for these last couple weeks, actually. I believe there was a Baker clip that was kind of like a montage saying he's the next one, and then there was a Jared Goff one as well. Obviously, those guys aren't left in it, but who do you think today could be the Eli Manning that could kind of be the, GOAT slayer, if you will, as resident Giants fan Bruce Brown refers to you? And, what do you think it takes to have that kind of, not mentality, or sure, mentality and, preparation to go into a game against someone who's considered or is being, called the GOAT, and not have it be too tall of a task going into the game?
Well, hey, I mean, it's there right in front of you. It's set up. It's got to be Brock Purdy. It's a guy from the NFC. The guy, he's last pick in the draft. I wasn't that, but he's in a Super Bowl. He's chill. He's cool under pressure. He's been down in playoff games, and all he does is just go on fire in the fourth quarter and make outstanding plays and big time throws. And so it's set up for him. And it's all a fun debate because the Chiefs, these last 6 years, they've been almost unbeatable. And in the playoffs, they've been so good, and they get into Super Bowls. And so it's a fair comparison to start mentioning Patrick Mahomes and the Brady and the Kansas City and the Patriots kind of in that same world, and the same ability to get to the Super Bowls and win them. And so it'll be interesting if San Francisco, if they can pull it off.
I heard you say a couple qualities there that Brock might have, aside from being in the NFC. I don't think he made that selection. Somebody else did for him. But you said cool, comfortable. Are those some of the traits that you think you have? And is that why in those big moments you were able to kind of play your best ball and stuff?
Yeah, go ahead. I think so. I think the moment's not too big for him. It's not going to be oh my God, I'm in a Super Bowl, I'm nervous or I'm going to try to do more. It's just, hey, let the moments come to you. I'm going to, you never want to say it's just another football game because that's so cliche and it's not, but you kind of want to have that feeling of, hey, I'm going to go play my game. I'm going to trust my teammates. I'm going to, throw it to Kittle. I'm going to hand it off. I'm going to wear my cowboy boots and my, whitewashed jeans and let's go win a football game. Let's go.
The past weekend, too, he walked in looking exactly like you. I mean, he came in dressed straight out of a Manning model magazine.
Yep.
With the quarters. I think he even had a quarter zip.
Had a quarter zip.
Had a quarter zip on. I mean,
we send it to all the quarterbacks in the playoffs. He's the only one that wore it, though.
So, to answer that question, feels like Brock is.
Yeah, guy.
Feels like Brock is.
Brock's the guy.
Brock's
the guy.
How about Brock, though? And the boys are going to have, obviously, more questions, and we can't thank you enough for your time here, Eli, as you're in deep preparation for the Pro Bowl game.
Getting ready.
Look at that. That is the Manning.
There it is.
I mean, khakis probably instead, but that is the Manning fit pretty much, isn't it?
That is it. That's a nice quarter zip. I like his style. I'm going to have to look for that one.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the same one.
You're wearing it right now. Yeah, they're all the same, but you got the blue one, yeah. The blue one is, you guys are wearing it. How do you feel about the Brock Purdy kind of reaction? Now, you said you weren't the last pick of the draft. We all remember your draft situation, and from the family that you came through and in, you've had eyes and had to deal with different stuff throughout your entire life than anybody else as well. It's not just easy, that entire road. But being the last pick of the draft, we all know this that have been in the building, that dude's afforded nothing. You make a couple bad throws in training camp, see you. We need another corner as opposed to another quarterback. Everything he has had to get through to get to this point since arriving in the NFL, and then how quickly he was able to pick up the offense and slice and dice. He's in his second year, back-to-back NFC championships, last pick of the draft. And obviously this year, and we've talked about it, and I'm kind of tired of talking about it because he's in the Super Bowl. I mean, unbelievable. He's gotten killed by people. Killed by people. Is there, from a quarterback standpoint, what do you think of his play? And I don't want you to judge society, but do you think there's going to come a time where this guy is everybody's hero from what he's been able to accomplish? Because he already is kind of for most of us that have watched what he has kind of done so quickly.
Yeah, well, I think what he's been able to overcome, and like you said, being the last pick in the NFL draft, going to the team, no one's expecting you to make the team, no one's expecting you to play that year, and all he does is just get in there, work hard, learn the system, step in, and start winning football games, and taking over that leadership role of the team, and everybody kind of believed in him that he was going to make the plays and do what he had to do, and so that's not easy. That's a lot of pressure thrown on you all of a sudden, and like he didn't drop one bead of sweat. Like he just went right through it and he did his job. And had the injury, came back this year, has done the same thing. And I think just that mindset and everything he's had to kind of overcome is he's kept that same mentality. It's like, hey, I'm just I'm a 7th round quarterback, and I'm just going to go out here and play a football game, throw it to the guys that are open. He sits in the pocket, gets drilled,
Huge
he runs
shots.
around, makes guys miss. Yeah, right in a full face shot, like a guy right in your face, and is throwing a 20-yard over route. Right, a perfect throw to his receiver. So those are big time throws. That's toughness. He ran a few times, had some big scrambles. So it's just like, hey, whatever they ask me to do, I'll do it. I'm going to be coachable. And I'm not going to get a big attitude. I'm not going to change my mentality and just go out there and get the job done. So it's been impressive. And I think, hey, every quarterback's going to have a bad game. And he had a few bad games early on. And that's what I look for. How do you respond to a couple tough weeks? You throw a bunch of interceptions versus Baltimore. Hey, but you fire back. You come back the next week. Keep your head up, and you keep throwing it. And it never affected his play, and that just shows he's mentally tough.
I think that Baltimore game was the only game that a lot of people potentially watched Brock play.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
I think that was potentially. I'm not saying everybody, because obviously the NFL's ratings are what they are, and San Francisco has a lot of primetime games. But Christmas Day, all eyes were on that game with how he played. I think that immediately created the narrative. Last pick of the draft, this is how he played in the biggest moment. This guy stinks going forward. And it's like all he's done is show up. We're massive fans.